couple of weeks ago, I did the math and my review of the math. And so today is the English language arts. So here it says middle school, and if you have been with me for a while, you know that I am not keen on grade levels. I just believe that if your students or your children don't know it, then it's okay to start wherever you need to start so they can learn it. Practice makes progress. So everything you need to ace English language arts, it is colorful. Now you can't tell this on the screen. On the screen it looks kind of orange, but it's actually bright pink. So it's kind of weird to see it on the screen, but it is bright pink. It is also 488 pages, I believe. There is no index in the back, but we'll talk about that in a moment. And yeah, so it's just, it is small, it's compact, it's not going to take up a lot of space, and I love that. I mean, we all don't have a major library of books, and so we need something that takes up less space, and this does that. The whole series does that. So we're going to start with how it's set up, which it is set up the same as it is in the other books and the math that we looked at not too long ago. So you get your introduction. They tell you how everything is organized, which I love. I love organization, especially when it comes to note taking and things like that. And we're going to take a look at the table of contents. So here it says grammar, phrases and clauses, subjective, objective, and possessive pronouns, intensive pronouns, verbals, active and passive voice and verbs, and the rest. Unit 2 is language, figurative language, word relationships, nuances, and word meanings. Unit 3, reading fiction, types of fiction, objective summary, textual analysis and evidence, authorship and narration, and the rest. Reading nonfiction, types of nonfiction, textual analysis and evidence, authorship, and the rest there. And the last unit, Unit 5, is your writing, research for writing, writing practice, writing arguments, different types of writing here, expository, informative, and explanatory texts, and writing narratives. Now, I love that the fact that it says it's a study guide, but what I truly love is that it's not just a study guide for students. It's a study guide for parents to teach or help their children. So yes, so you can use this with grade levels. It says 5 to 8. Like I said, I'm not keen on grade levels, so I say you use it when you need to use it. Okay, wherever you need to start with your children, that's where you start and begin. At the end of each chapter in each unit, you will eventually get to the check your knowledge. Here it has 10 questions, just as it did in the math book. And then on the back page of that, you'll have check your answers. So the graphics are wonderful. It looks like they really took notes. And again, this is a great opportunity for copy work. And so they continue on with the same setup, chapter 3, with the same thing. Now, what I would do as if I was still homeschooling, this is what I would do. So even though they have the check your knowledge here, I would use this check your knowledge as also an end of the unit testing. So when I say that, let me try to explain it. In each unit, there are chapters. And at the end of each chapter, there are check your knowledge questions. I would use it at the end of the unit. And so that way you would have, especially if you're in a state that requires testing, so you can definitely use the check your knowledge at the end of a unit to do one complete comprehensive test. I'm not big on testing. I do like that is a quiz or a test at the end of each chapter, but I also know that there is value at seeing what they know overall in a unit, because you can actually pinpoint what they have remembered and mastered and what they haven't. So either way, whether it's after each chapter or at the end of the unit, you can use this to your advantage. So I'm not going to flip through everything, but there is something that I wanted to actually, if I can get to it, look at. Because I love to read, and I really believe that reading comprehension is very, very important, because in life, your children grow up, they have to understand what they're reading, whether it's a contract, whether they are going into college, whether it's filling out an application, they have to understand. So I like the fact that when it gets into the literature part, it's going to cover types of fiction and genres, stories, common story genres. It's going to cover things that we may think, well, my kid is not really into poetry. But remember, let's look at the big picture here. It's about comprehension. So we want them to understand what poetry is. So I want to say that when I see the word poetry here, my mind goes back to the Life of Fred Language Arts series review that I did, because I believe in that review I talked about how I enjoyed how the poetry section was taught. So even with an eclectic approach such as Life of Fred, an untraditional approach, this book can be used alongside of it. Before I end this video, my hand turned to fiction reading list. Oh my gosh, I love reading. I was just talking about reading comprehension. Let's take a look at what they have. So here they have 6th grade fiction reading list. Now again, and I wish this would change, they should just mark out the grade level. Because let me tell you why I'm like that. I am like that because if you have a 9th grader who is using this book and they see 6th grade, they are automatically going to deter away from it because they think, I'm not 6th grade, I'm 9th grade. So it discourages them from taking part in something that they can truly take part in. And because they see that, you're going to have a tough time. So that is why I just do not like grade levels. The whole point of this is to make learning fun and enjoyable and to have a great experience, especially if you are homeschooling your children. I would have read books. I read books aloud with my children, with the Bible being the number one thing that I read. But we definitely did a lot of reading aloud. And even as my children graduated, they would still come in and want to hear me read. So yeah, this I'm not crazy about that. I would scratch that completely out and say fiction reading list, period. Like this book here that's on this reading list is called Okay for Now by Gary D. Schmidt. Historical. It's a drama, and it gives you just a brief. This is so awesome. It gives you just a brief introduction to what this book is about. So I love that. This is definitely one to put in your homeschool library or to build your educational library. Not only great for the students and your children, but great for the parents and the teachers and the educators of all kinds. So if you like this kind of content and video, give me a thumbs up, share, like, comment, and subscribe. That helps me to grow this channel. And my goal here is to take what I've learned over the 27 years and help you through it. You got this. Thanks so much. Bye.